Don't Vote Labour Again, Episode 58. There was speculation that Trump was going to veto Starmer's Chagos Islands deal. It was likely he wouldn't, if he was happy with the long-term lease of the Diego Garcia base. He wouldn't care about the money we were shelling out, nor about our final total loss of the empire. He's busy building his own. Indeed, it is now rumoured America will eventually buy the base itself. Nevertheless, many people believed the president was ready to put the kibosh on the arrangement. Even Foreign Secretary Lamy admitted if Trump didn't agree, the deal wouldn't happen. Starmer then made his cringe-inducing visit to Trump, where in a press conference he bribed the president with an invite for another state visit. Funny, I don't remember Labour supporting the last one. The tales of a diplomatic triumph abounded, at least in the few days before Trump and J.D. Vance had their public row with Zelensky.
And yesterday was a triumph.
The centrist media gushed over the possibility of a US trade deal, where before they had screamed blue murder about the chlorinated chicken, the threat to British workers, and Trump being a fascist. Anyway, the upshot of all of this was that in the same press conference, Trump said he would probably support the deal. He made no promises, but it sounded like he was ready to rubber stamp it. Well, we're going to have some discussions about that very soon, and I have a feeling it's going to work out very well. They're talking about a very long term, a very strong lease, about 140 years actually. That's a very long time. And I think I'll be inclined to go along with your country. It's a little bit early, and we have to be given the details, but it doesn't sound bad. The disappointment across conservative social media was palpable, especially given his dressing down of Zelensky the next day. I must admit it felt like a kick in the teeth, even though I was skeptical that Trump would ride to our rescue. Flattery and submissive behavior, it seemed, had appealed to his ego. It's worth remembering that personal connections with Trump transcend politics, meaning he can pal around with Kim Jong-un, Macron, or whoever. However, he can also turn on a dime if somebody acts against him, and Starmer is one faux pas away from being Trump's enemy. The developments in Ukraine have laid out dozens of rakes on the path, ready to be stepped on. The president may also be manipulating Sir Keir, playing along with the charade for now, but ready to drop the hammer when it suits him. Trump's people will be well aware that Chagos is a political weakness of Starmer, ready to be exploited at an opportune moment. With any luck, Trump does so, and it would rock the UK government, perhaps terminally. As a result of Trump's stance on Ukraine and NATO, and as a reward for Trump being nice to Starmer, our PM has announced an increase in defense spending to 2.5% of GDP by 2027. It is currently 2%, in line with NATO rules, and Starmer aims to raise it to 3% in a second Labour term. Trump has been talking about 5%. The increase will equate to £13.4 billion per year. However, coming out of the defence budget is the fee we are going to pay Mauritius for taking the Chagos Islands off us. There is still uncertainty about the sum, as indeed there is about the deal itself. The original leaked figure was £900 million per year over 99 years, totalling just over £89 billion. A second leak quoted the lease of the Diego Garcia base to be £8.9 billion over 99 years, front-loaded by a larger sum earlier on, working out at just over £90 million a year. The next figure came to light on February the 3rd. Mauritius claimed the UK had offered them £18 billion in total, with a large upfront sum. This apparently followed a meeting between the UK and Mauritian Attorney Generals on January the 16th. Labour at first would not deny this, then started saying the claims were nonsense. Mauritius later backtracked and stated that no figure had been agreed. £18 billion would equate to about £182 million a year if paid over 99 years. If you take the first figure, 6.7% of the annual extra defence spending would go to Mauritius. If you take the second figure, it makes 0.7% of the extra spend. Using the third sum, it is 1.4%. Either way, money we're supposed to be spending on tanks, guns, and aeroplanes to take on Bad Vlad will be going to a Chinese ally instead, along with the territory itself. The government refuses to answer whether the Chagos fees will be taken from the extra spend, so we can probably take that as a yes. The other problem with Starmer's increased defence spend is that he claimed he would raise the money from cutting foreign aid from 0.5% to 0.3% of GDP. However, the sums don't add up. The cut would raise £6 billion a year, less than half of the £13.4 billion required. The question then was, how would Labour raise the rest? This has been partially answered on March the 18th with Labour's welfare cuts. There was speculation this would raise about £5 billion a year by 2030, which the DWP Minister Liz Kendall has repeated. However, this isn't mentioned in the official document that was issued. So, we're up to £11 billion a year. Only £2.4 billion is needed, and we can expect more penny pinching, which takes the money from British people and hands it to Zelensky and the armaments industry. Spokesman for Rachel Reeves have justified the welfare cut by saying the world has changed since October, when extra government spending was promised. This is their standard excuse for breaking pledges. All that has changed is that Trump has pulled the plug on Ukraine, and the British taxpayer are supposed to compensate for that. It is not our war, and regrettably for Ukraine's territorial concerns, it is time for peace. These are from my article series Don't Vote Labour Again, published on my Substack, link in description. I usually split each subject into smaller episodes. In the description, you will find links to the other episodes. You can also check out my playlist to find every single one. Please support me in my work by subscribing to this channel, subscribing free to my Substack, and by liking and sharing. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon as we plumb the depths of this dreadful government.